Hey everyone, this is Ice Dragon. This is my first YouTube video, and I've been wanting to share my experiences in War Thunder for a while now. I've been playing this game since just before the closed beta in Ground Forces was announced. I primarily play Simulator and Realistic Ground Forces, and I tend to find things to be a lot more interesting in those game modes. You get more opportunities for flanking maneuvers and such. People don't spot you just by simply spawning and existing. So, anyway, in this replay, I'm playing as a Leopard 1, in which I end up going on the defensive after spawn point A gets captured. Rather than let someone else take care of the defending, I end up taking care of it myself. With that being said, let's begin. We're beginning on the northeasternmost spawn, and what I intend on doing here is I intend on going towards the castle and securing an overwatch position between the two spawn points. That way I can prevent anybody from advancing towards Alpha from that small little gully in the northeast. While we're on our way there, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my loadout here. At the bottom of the screen here, you can see I have Heat FS, Sabo, and Hesh rounds. I carry all three of them simply because all rounds have their use, and the Leopard 1 is a glass cannon. Heat FS tends to be a good bread and butter. Sabo is excellent for taking out engines and dealing with anything, that's spaced. And Hesh is excellent for those light-skinned targets. So we're approaching the Overwatch position. It's going to be there in a moment. And while I'm approaching, I'm just looking around. I'm trying to be alert, make sure that I'm not going to encounter anybody unprepared. As I approach this crest here, I'm noticing I'm not seeing any enemy tanks on my left. So I'm going to take a look onto the right, make sure that there isn't anybody positioned in this location over here. And it does look like this flank is completely clear. So what I end up doing is I end up turning back, and my worries immediately shift to Alpha, because there's nobody on the northern flank. That usually means that enemies are being pretty aggressive on the other flanks, such as middle or southwest of the map. So we're just going to fast forward here and get ourselves a little bit closer to, well, the next part of the action. And as I'm approaching, I'm just looking around, making sure that I'm not going to run into anybody unsuspectingly. As I approach our spawn point, I notice that it's starting to get captured, and I also hear off in the distance an anti-air. It's most likely a ZSU, and so I'm pretty confident that there is someone laying in wait, but I'm not sure where he is. So I look on the point, and I don't see anybody there. I also look off to the right and also don't see anybody. So as I'm approaching, I don't know why I looked down there for a second. I'm a little distracted. Anyway, I look off to the left and I notice there's a ZSU right there. He instantly shoots me and destroys my tank. But no worries, I have a backup. And since this is simulator mode, you get two spawns. I spawn in a second time, and I already know where he is. So I start approaching the location from the back. And as I look around the right side corner, I do see he actually knows I'm right there. At this point, we're exchanging fire, and he's, to my fortune, bouncing some rounds off the front of my turret. I'm very lucky because usually that just goes right through you. So I've got Hesh loaded right now. And on the bottom of the screen, you're going to notice that since this is a replay, it doesn't keep an accurate tally on how many shots I have. So just keep that in mind. So I'm moving off to his left. He seems to think I'm over off to the left for some reason, and we end up flanking him, shooting him right in the back of the turret twice and taking him out. So I continue forward and I see a friendly Leopard off to my front. Gonna speed it up a little bit. So while he's capturing, I take a position on this hill, try to spot any enemies off to the south, and I don't see anything initially, so I just keep on looking, and right there is a PT-76. He's about 500, 600 meters. So I fire that one shot and take him right out. Looking around. Always need to be alert because you never know when there is someone on the offense who wants to take you down. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit more. Looks like the Yak was strafing the Leopard to our front. I try to fire a shot, end up missing him. Not much I can do about that guy, but he's not really much of a threat. If he was, he would have dropped a bomb anyway. So what I did see is I saw some weapons fire being exchanged between the friendly Leopard and somewhere to the right, and I did see right there was a T-54 right in front of us. So what I want to do is I want to go off to his left and fire at him from a high elevated position. So that's what I do. I move up, get on his side, and I see him right behind this bush. I fire a shot while I'm on the move, take him right out. So now our point is completely clear. There aren't any enemies around. Just take a quick gander what's going on. You always want to be quite alert in Sim. So the Leopard ends up pushing a little bit towards the east. I end up going back because I suspect that there's going to be some more people coming towards our position. So I push back and take up the same position that I was right there. I did see some weapons fire, so it doesn't look like this is clear just yet. And I do see a PT-7 right there in front of us. Zero in, fire my first shot, he's been taken out. So at this point, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit more. While his flaming wreck just sits and burns, I decide to push up. Do see a friendly is pushing that way. Just overwatch him for a second, and we end up moving up. Always check my corners, my sides. Pushing up on towards the middle of the map. And let's see. Where are we? Oh, look, behind us. Alpha's being captured again. So, just like before, we run right back to the rescue. Coming up through that small little pathway that we went through and killed that ZSU earlier. Take a look. There's a T-10 right there. Shoot him right in the side of the turret and he's out. EFS rounds, just ridiculously strong, but I mean, you're incredibly fragile in the Leopard. You want to use your mobility, your gun depression, everything you have to its complete advantage. Even the fact that your turret is mounted on the front is a huge advantage. Allows you to peek around corners. Don't expect to bounce rounds, so it doesn't even matter if you angle the armor or not. So I'm going to fast forward a short while. And right about now, you actually see a Yak do a strafing run. I zero in and just slow it down for a second. I fire a shot, and this thing goes sailing right into the dead center mass of this guy, and he just blows up, falls right to the ground into tiny little shreds of Yak parts. I can't tell you how satisfying of a shot that was, but can't celebrate just yet. Our friend right here just took a shot to his side from, well, another tank. He's currently flanking us to the north, so I'm going to push up and confront him. Good thing about this tank, since you've got such good gun depression, you can really abuse it. So, I see him right here. And he's not even looking in our direction. Shoot him right in the front. It doesn't kill him outright, but it sets him on fire, so it's enough to, you know, get him a little bit thrown off. Maybe a little scared. So I pull back a little bit and let him make the first move. And while I'm doing so, I'm dropping artillery here. But there's no real reason for me to do that, because I end up shooting him right in the front of the turret and just knocking him right out. And for the most part, that's the match. So we encountered ZSU, 2 PTs, 2 T-54s, a T-10, and a Yak, and they all ended up meeting the same fate. And if you look at the very top of the screen, you can see they're just gonna bleed out the rest of their tickets. So, I mean, we're capturing Bravo, but there actually aren't any other tanks alive on the field, or even aircraft, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed those nice frags I got on my opponents throughout this match. Well, in any case, stay tuned. I'll be making some more videos, and look forward to them. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, and if you want to see more, I do occasionally stream, and if you look at the bottom in the description, you'll find that I do have it linked for you. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Until next time, I'll see you around.